Hi guys, this is Avinash Sharma, and in this video we will discuss what are the errors and how to handle those errors in Python language. In Python there are more than 500 types of error, and each and every error has its own code and different kind of problem. But in this video we will discuss those errors which are commonly used. So generally there are two types: syntax error. Syntax error means if we do not follow the format defined by the Python language, then that is the syntax error, and other is the runtime error. It means when you execute the program, then that type of error might occur. And runtime error is also called the exception, like the logical error, name error, value error, type errors, index error, and others. Now if you check this diagram, suppose we have a program and there are 6 lines in that program. So line 1, line 2 executes properly, but in line 4 we have the runtime error. So what will happen? The program terminates. The whole program execution stops and terminates. But the rest of the statement, like the line 5 and line 6, does not execute. They are skipped. So to handle that kind of situation, we do the error handling in the Python. So for handling the errors in the Python, we use the block that is called the try and except. This is the block when we write the program. So first of all, we discuss about the try block. In this block, we can write the single or multiple statement. It means we can write the whole program in this try block. And the next one is the except. That is for you handling the errors. If some statement has an error at the runtime, say program throw an error, then that block, except block, will handle that error, because the control will jump from try block to except block, skipping the rest of the statement. Then else part is like a if else statement. If there is no error in the try block, then it will skip or ignore the except block and will jump to the else block. So here you can write another statement, and those statements will execute in case of there is no error. Then we have the finally block. As you can see, the else and finally block, these are the optional. It is up to you. It is up to your requirement. If you require, then you can mention the else or finally block. But if you use the try block, then the except block, it's a mandatory. That is a complete block. The finally block, as you can see, it always executes if there is an error or no error in the program. It always executes. Now we check another diagram. As you can see, in the try block we have the 3 statements, and we are assuming there is no error. Line 1, line 2, line 3 executes properly. So in that case, except block will be ignored, will be skipped by the program, because that block is for handling the errors, and in this program there is no error. Then it will jump to the else block. Then in the else block you can write your other statements, and finally it always executes. Then we check another example. In this example, line 1, 2 is okay. Line 2 we have an error. So in that case, the except block will handle that error, because the program will jump from line 2 the except block, ignoring the line number 3 in the try block. And after executing the statement in the except block, then it will jump to the directly finally block, because in this case the else part of the except will not be executed. It will be ignored or skipped. Now how to handle the errors in the Python? So we will check with this practical. So we have two statements, x1 equal to 10, then print statement we are using the x variable that is not defined. So if I try to execute this statement, then we have an error, name error, x not defined. But this error is coming, this error message coming from the Python library, and sometimes we need to display our custom message. Now say print end of program. So again I try. So you can see we have an error on this statement. It means the next statement will be ignored or will be skipped because the program terminates from this line number 2. So we will use the try block. Say try, then colon, please define the x variable. Now if I try this one, then the error block means the error statement will jump to the directly to the except statement, and there are 3 statements in this block, so all statements are executed. This except block, x not found program, and finally this one, not accept end of program. Now suppose if I say I will change it to x1, now x is there. If I try this program, then this statement executes and the except block is ignored or skipped because there is no error. But sometimes we need to display some message always, or like end of the program we want to inform the user that programs has been processed completely. So we can use for this purpose finally, then print end of program, finally block. So if I run this one, then end of program finally. There is no message from this block, and again say if I this one, so now we have an error, and what happens now? So finally these 3 statements from the this state block, except block, and finally end of program finally. It means finally block always executes. So as I told you, the finally block is optional. If I remove this one, so still it works. If I remove this except statement, then what happens? Then incomplete input. As I told you, when you define the try block, then except statement is the mandatory for the try block. Other else part and the finally block are optional. So it is up to you. According to your requirement, you can use these else part or finally block. Now in next program we check how to use the multiple errors in the block. Because the last program we used only the except block, that was the global. It means the global library, and that kind of library can trap all type of error, but sometimes we need to trap a particular or a specific error. So in this program we have defined the name of the error. In the try we have 2 variables, x equal to say 10, then y equal to 0. In the try we have the print, and then we divide the x by y, means like we divide the 10 by 0. Then first statement accept type error. It's a predefined inbuilt error in the Python library. It's a class, then we create the instance of this class as ER2. This ER2, it could be any name, user defined name. Then print statement. Then second, 0 division error. Again predefined or inbuilt error in Python, and then we create the instance of this one. So here our intention is to trap a particular or specific error. So first of all, the program will check this error. If this kind of error exists, then this execute this statement. If doesn't, then it will check this one. If this error exists, then it will print this one and will ignore this one. So if I run this program, then you cannot divide a value with 0. That is a custom message because we have defined this message. And division by 0, this is message, this is from the Python library. So we can use both custom and the inbuilt or predefined message from the Python. Because first of all it checked this statement and there was no error. So then it checked next one. Then it found the error in this statement, in this library. Then it ignored this one. Now, suppose I make it say string. Now the x equal to 10 string and then y. So we are trying to divide a string by the integer. So there is no 0 division error. It's a type error. Now if I try this one, then type error. And this is the unsupported operand type. This message is coming from the library directly, Python library. Then finally end of program. So this is how you can define the multiple errors from the library of the Python. But here is a one important thing. When you use this except statement, it's a global. And whenever you define the list of the errors in the try block, then that statement must be the last statement. Suppose the sequence of these two specific error doesn't matter. Say if I say I cut this one and write this statement, it doesn't matter because the program will search from top to bottom. First of all it will search the first statement, first error, then second error, and then third error. Then it's fine, doesn't matter, the answer is the same. It found the error in this statement. First of all it ignored this one, then found the error in this one. But if I write this statement, that is the global, and say here, now if I try this program, so default except must be the last one. So you have to remember this one, the sequence of this one. The sequence of the specific error doesn't matter, but if you are if you define the except statement, that must be the last statement in the try block. Next one, we check the file handling error. So there is a file and we print all the content of that file. So in this program, first of all, if file is there, then all the contents are printed. But if file is not there, then we have an error message, file not found. So first of all we check the file, the data.txt, and we check the content. In the content we have the 1, 2, 3 and then words. Now in the program, so if I run this program and say ABC, this file is not there, then message is file not found. This one, file not found. Say if try again, then data.txt. Now if I type this one, then we have a content of that file, and finally we are closing this file. So this is how you can handle the file errors. Next one is the how to use the nested try block. In that case we will have the two blocks, the outer and the inner try block. So in this program we have the try block, that is the outer. In this we have the list, then we have a attribute lower and another variable y equal to 0, and for the final for the outer block we have the except statement, attribute error, and if there is no error in the outer block, then we have the else part. In the else parts we have another try block. It means if there is no error in the outer block, then the nested part, else part, will execute. So and both inner and the outer we have the finally statement and finally block. So if I try this program, say run, then list object has no attribute, that the lower, outer finally block always execute. It means we have an error on this statement, and this statement is part of our outer block. So this except block will trap this error, attribute error, and will jump to this finally block, ignoring this else part of this one. So if I say delete this statement, now say run, then please change y argument to non-zero because there is no error in the outer block. Then it jumped to the else part in try block, and we divide the z by y, and the value of the y is 0, and the any value cannot be divided by the 0. That's why we have an error, this 0 division error. And then finally block of this try, inner block, and then outer block. We have the two finally block. Now if I say 2 and run this program, then we have all the value divided by the 2, and again finally, then outer finally. So this is how you can use the nested block in the try block. Next one, how to raise the exception. Generally the raise keywords is used when like you want to validate the data, because in the Python library there is no such type of the function or error library in the Python. So we have to use the raise keywords. Raise means like we are throwing the exception. So in this program, like we have a function and we pass 3 value in this function x, y, z, then we sum the value of 3 parameters, 3 values, and then we have a condition. If total less than 80, then we say raise exception. Here we are creating, basically we are creating a new exception. We are throwing the exception using the keyword the raise exception, and ultimately if there is an error, then it will jump to the except block, and if there is no error, then it will jump to the else part of this check. So we check this program and we have total 107, that is the more than 80. So message is you are eligible, this statement. If I say make it now, then run, then that is the total is the 44, and the raise exception not eligible, and this eligible basically it creates a new exception and we trap that exception here as e instance. Then we print the instance here error, and the message is error not eligible. So this is how you can use the raise exception for validating the condition or data. So friend, this was all about the how to handle the errors in the Python. Thanks for watching the video. Please like the video and subscribe the channel. Thank you.